Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja and today we are going to deal with the significance of Amarnath Yatra. The Amarnath Yatra is one of the most revered pilgrimages in the Hindu society. Also, we have to ensure that we know the overall structure of the yatra, how does it happen, and that will be brief analysis. Also, with respect to the ensemble of unity between Hindus and Muslims, this topic will be of great significance. From the perspective of art and culture, of course, prelims facts are important. And from the perspective of mains examination, GS mains paper 1. And from the perspective of security with respect to Amarnath Yatra, we have GS mains paper 3 at the core. Okay, so you see that these are the many topics we are going to have a discussion about, an analysis about. Discussion, I will make it why? Because I will try to ask you certain subjective questions, that what is your opinion with respect to anything that I find useful for interaction during the midst of the entire segment. Let us begin with the news. Now, the first batch of pilgrims to Amarnath have departed from their source and this yatra begins. Now, earlier, if we talk about the particular thing about this pilgrimage is that there is no official record that when is the day to be there with respect to Amarnath Yatra commencement. But earlier it was just 15 days to a month, because the shrine that we have of Lord Shiva, it takes its full shape in the month of May, and by August it's just a few feet tall. Okay, so that is why it was earlier for 1 month, 15 days to 1 month, but now it is spanning across 2 months. So many batches of pilgrims are there, taking into consideration the ecology of that area and security of the pilgrims. The pilgrims are divided into batches. Okay, so let us talk about the Amarnath caves. The Amarnath caves are situated in the Anantnag district in southern Kashmir Himalayas, and it is 3,888 meters above sea level. Here only it is said, the myth is that Lord Shiva told goddess Parvati the very famous Amar Katha. And with respect to the discovery of the shrine, it is very important for us to know when I talk about the ensemble of Hindu-Muslim unity. What is that? In 1850, please do not get offended by anything that I say with respect to mythology, legends and lores, because these are not, there is no official record, these are just mythologies. Okay, so just take it as a story. So in 1850, it has been said that Bhuta Malik, who was a shepherd, he discovered the shrine or the cave. How it happened? When Bhuta Malik was high above the sea level in Anantnag, he saw a Sufi saint. The Sufi saint gave him a bag full of coal. Okay, then Bhuta Malik went back to his house, and when he opened that bag of coal, he saw gold in it. And he was ecstatic, he was overwhelmed with joy. He went to the Sufi saint. He did not see the Sufi saint, but instead of the Sufi saint, he saw a shrine, and in the shrine, the Shivling of Lord Shiva. So this is the lore, that is the lore that is suggested. Why did I tell you this lore? Will come in the future, the relevance of it. Moving on, if we talk about the base camps, how do people basically travel to Amarnath? Now from Pahalgam, basically, we have to move to Sri Amarnath cave either by foot or by pony. Okay, this is the main source of, you can say, the base camp of Amarnath Yatra. Other than that, we also have the Baltal camp and Pahalgam camp. So one thing that we have to keep in mind is whenever we are traveling to Sri Amarnath cave, we will find many other important regions, many other important monuments, or you can say points in Hinduism. That is the Shankaracharya lake, okay, and Dal Lake. Also remember, this can be asked in your geography. This is the Anchal Lake, okay? Dal Lake, which is between the, Dal Lake is between the Anchal Lake and the Shankaracharya Lake. So you see that here, where we have the Sri Amarnath Cave, we have two base camps. First is Pahalgam, which is a longer one. People take a little long to reach Amarnath from Pahalgam. But Baltal is much shorter with respect to the length of the road. Plus, people take very less time to reach from Baltal to Amarnath. Now, one thing that we have to keep in mind over here, that Baltal is much more steep. The terrain is harder, whereas from Pahalgam to Amarnath, the terrain is gentler. So, people generally tend to take from Pahalgam to Amarnath. Okay, let's move on and talk about the shrine. Now, the shrine is made up of ice. The water that drips, when it becomes a stalagmite, it looks like a shivling, and that shivling is very revered in Hinduism. There are also shorter shivlings that are along with the main, not these shivlings, we can say stalagmites I have to use over here, because shivling is only going to be one. Other stalagmites are also there that are the co-deities, but this is the cave without the Amarnath shivling, and this is the cave with the shivling, and that is the formation of stalagmite. When the water drips, okay, here we are going to take water. The water drips onto the floor, then layer after layer, this is the cave floor, and layer after layer builds, and then we have the shivlinga. This is called stalactite and this is called stalagmite. When they both join together, they become a column or a pillar. This is basic geography. You are going to read about that in G.C. Leong as well. So here, the significance, when I was telling you the story of Bhuta Malik, here comes the story of relevance of the story of Bhuta Malik. The family of Bhuta Malik remained the traditional custodian of the shrine for many years, along with, mind you, along with Hindu priests from the Dashnami Akhada and Purohit Sabha Matan. Okay, then that happened for many years. Then in 2000, when Farooq Abdullah was the chief minister, he said that there is a need for making or ensuring that much more improvement can be done for the pilgrims to the Amarnath Yatra. Then a board was formed. The governor was the head. The name of the board was Sri Amarnath Ji Shrine Board, and the governor was the head. And because of this particular thing, Malik's family and Hindu organizations, they were evicted. Now that was the end of the very important or significant point we could point at with respect to Hindu-Muslim unity. And we talk about the general sentiment in Kashmir with respect to Amarnath Yatra. It has always been positive, always. So if we have to give an example, Mohalla committees there organized langars for Yatri in Srinagar and Ganderlal districts as well. So you see, Ganderlal district and Srinagar, they, even though they have the Muslim majority regions, they still used to do langars for the pilgrims. Now, if we talk about the security issues over there, security issues for the first time ever they came to the fore in 1993 when the Pakistan-based Harkat-ul-Ansar, they announced a ban on the yatra. There was a diktat. No yatra could be done because of the demolishment of the Babri Masjid. This was the first diktat. But against this diktat, the Srinagar, even separatists were very disheartened. Separatists were not in favor of this diktat. Separatist leader, can you imagine? In 2000, 25 people, including 17 pilgrims, were killed in massive militant attack on the Pahalgam base camp. Now, this was the first direct military action on the pilgrims. On July 10, 2017, 7 people were killed and 11 others injured when militants attacked a bus carrying Amarnath Yatris to Botingao, the Srinagar Jammu National Highways. One thing was very interesting over here. Initially, no outfit took the responsibility of the attack. That was the sentiment, because Kashmiris in general, they were very unhappy. They were extremely, you can say, heartbroken with respect to this entire issue. Moving on, if we talk about the security arrangements right now, It is being said that this year unprecedented security operations are being taken. Why? 2 years, for 2 years, there was a complete blockade with respect to Amarnath Yatra because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2021, although a 50 plus days of Amarnath Yatra timeline was given, but it was halted because of the rising COVID cases. After 2 years, many yatris, that means many pilgrims who were having plans of going to Amarnath Yatra since the last 2 years, they will find a way this year. And almost twice to thrice the number of Amarnath Yatris on an average that we see, we are going to see more than that this year. And that is why 80,000 security personnel have been deployed. Not only the Jammu and Kashmir police, but also BSF, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, CRPF, many security personnel have been deployed over here. Also, one thing that we have to keep in mind is vehicles and luggage checking is being done for foreign objects. The foreign objects could be explosive devices. The one thing that is bothering everybody is the sticky bomb or the magnet bomb that sticks at any place and sticks at any place where it is supposed to stick at, and it becomes very hard to track them. Also, it is very difficult to constantly have a vigilance upon vehicles in a busy area like Srinagar. So 3 sticky bombs and plastic lunch boxes near the international border in Kantiwala Daryan village of Kanchak, nearly 30 kilometers from Jammu city, were tracked in May this year. And this has been sticky bombs have become a problem since 2021 February. And multi-tier security measures have been taken. Police and other security agencies are being put in place for smooth conduct of the yatra. Other than that, security for the pilgrims are being undertaken with respect to medical beds. If any person wants to have an access to the, allegedly safer, or we can say the permitted areas, battery cars have also been given for the smooth and seamless transport of the passengers. Also, AIMS doctors are also over there with respect to keeping COVID-19 under strict vigilance. So these are the many things that have been done for the well functioning of the entire pilgrimage activity. Some 3 to 4 times more than the usual strength of security personnel have been deployed. Radio frequency identification tags have also been used. What are these? These are basically tags that are attached to the pilgrims. No pilgrim will be allowed if they do not have the RFID tag. So it's attached to the assets and has the information with respect to identity of the person. And this is the RFID reader. It will read the RFID tag and get the information into the computer database for better access when it is needed. And an antenna is there to receive and store the information from the RFID tag. Moving on, if we talk about the conclusion, now you see in India, this is not something that Amarnath Shrine is revered not only by Hindus but Muslims as well. So many shrines, both Hindus and Muslims, are revered by both communities. This is seen many places. And the Amarnath pilgrimage has existed in a larger narrative in which Shaivite plus Sufi practices were fused together in a composite culture and tradition. So this entire thing about whatever we have discussed about Amarnath Yatra, it spans across culture, the unity factor, security factor. So many things are there. Just give me a moment, because yesterday I asked a question about goodwill, right? Those who have not answered can move on. And one thing that I have kept in mind over here is to ask questions on a daily basis and take your names so that you might not feel left out in the entire program. Okay. So if you also, I would like to suggest and request, you can say, if you have any feedback for me that I can do better in any with respect to this in news, do tell me. Okay. So yes, goodwill pattern I asked you about. Many people have answered it correctly. Akansha has said that a person who advocates for a specific issue, global issue, on the basis of the nobility, like a public figure, is a goodwill partner. Okay, that is correct. Then also, Abhay has answered it correctly, but it's like Abhay has answered it from the perspective of economics. Abhay, Here I meant from the perspective of the global perspective, that is, how does India hold a significance as a goodwill partner? Your answer is correct economically. Okay, then Alok has answered it correctly, and also Aditya Birla has answered it correctly. Few people have answered today. Why you do not like typing or what? Try to answer more questions like this correctly. So this is a more so mains kind of question that I have formed over here. The Amarnath Yatra symbolizes the best of Kashmir's old syncretic ethos. Discuss in 200 words. Okay, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.